Howdy folks, in this video I'm going to show you how I make obsidian arrowheads. And a few days ago I went to the Roseville flea market and purchased several hunks of stone. That's the one thing in my primitive crafts that I spend money on because I have been unable to find my own obsidian so far. But while I was buying these pieces, the guys that run that shop, they shared with me a map, like a hand-drawn map of a spot in Northern California where you can mine your own obsidian. So I'm really psyched to go out there eventually. Probably have to wait till next summer. It's way up in the middle of nowhere, 6 hours from here. In the meantime, I have these hunks right here, including this kind of a semi-translucent gray obsidian, this smaller piece of mahogany obsidian, and this really interesting looking rock. They weren't really sure what it was actually, but now that I took off a piece of it, it appears to be flint, but I'm no expert. I also have different tools, including a couple different hammer stones, and these are from an elk antler that I got from Yellowstone National Park like 25 years ago. This is from a deer antler. It's a copper napper, and just that, some pieces of leather gloves. Like all my primitive craft videos, this is not really a how-to video because there's other people that are way better at it that have already done that. But just taking you along on the journey, and we'll see how it goes. All right, check it out. Okay, so the first step, I believe, is called spalling, and that's when you're knocking off pretty big chunks off a piece like this. And I've already started. I knocked off a few pieces and it went okay. The goal is to get like long, thin pieces off of there, and to do that you have to hit it in certain spots where there's sort of a shelf formed, a platform where it will transfer the force into the rock in such a way that it knocks off a piece like that. So you have to rough it up sometimes, or work it over with small breaks to find, and then try to find a good spot. Maybe right there. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm trying to go slow because in the past I just busted up the whole rock and not very good quality pieces to work with. So just trying to look. What happened there? Oh my god. Whoa. Check that out. That whole big area got knocked off of there. And it's like 3 pieces. This little one. It's nice obsidian. It's not that interesting, but it's pretty. It's translucent, and a little piece like this could be useful as just a blade in itself. It's really sharp right there, or you might be able to nap it into a small arrowhead. And these pieces, they're pretty jagged and a weird shape. I don't know what that's all about, but they're pretty thin, and that's good for napping this down into an arrowhead. This one too. Alright, let's try another one. It's really sharp over here. Little tiny thin pieces. Those are razor sharp though. Fragile but sharp. That's like too thin, really, but could be useful. If you have any tips for how to do this better, please leave them below. I appreciate any feedback. I'm still pretty new at this. The rock has this weird, like, it's like concave with it. I don't know what you call it, but right there, like, there's a bubble in the rock. But so the goal is to get arrowheads or spearheads, and inside of here there's like potentially one big one right in the middle that you're working towards, and then smaller ones that you could get from the pieces that you take off. In the past, I've been somewhat successful in that, but my arrowheads are pretty crude. They're okay, but kind of crude. So I'm trying to get better at spalling the rock and get better sheets off there. So. Okay, so now that I have some workable pieces, I switched to the small hammerstone, and usually with a gloved hand, sometimes without a glove, but then you know what happens then. And it's essentially the same kind of action as was happening with those bigger tools, but just on a smaller scale, knocking off thin, hopefully thin pieces. And in both processes, you have to keep it supported. That's why I'm using my gloved hand as a backup for that rock as I strike down on it right there. And get little pieces off. Going all around, and especially looking, oh, that was a nice piece that just came off. A thin flake that went right across there. That's what I want, because we want to thin this down, and in this piece it's really thick over on this side. So the goal is to have a one thin triangular sort of shape arrowhead that's biface, meaning like both sides have chips running up towards the center, and you have to be gentle though, because this is volcanic glass, you know, it's glass. And I can't tell you how many times I've just broken a piece like this in half by carelessly hitting it too hard. For some reason, braiding it like that helps. I don't really understand why. Just like that, broke it in half. See? Okay, so I just broke my third or fourth attempt, so I'm gonna switch to this mahogany obsidian and see if I have better luck. Oh, liking that. Oh wow. Oh wow. Can you see that? That is so cool, the pattern. Wow, I'm liking this a lot better. And this sheet right here, I mean, shoot, that's so thin. So even. Oh my goodness. This is so beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to change the camera angle so you can see this. Oh man, look at that. That is so cool looking. There's like brown and black and gray ripples marbled all through there, the clear. Man, that's cool. There we go. That one worked out pretty well. You can see right here. Look at this. Working with the antler now, pressure flaking. Okay, so working this mahogany obsidian, so far it feels better for some reason. I'm having more success getting this piece down to triangular shape. It's flat and thin already, so I'm gonna keep on pressure flaking it. That, get little flakes off there. To create like this little serrated edge and keep on driving them in deeper and deeper until we get the arrowhead. Okay, so after a couple days of busting rocks apart, this is what we've got. And I completely spalled the mahogany obsidian, and I mostly spalled and knapped the gray obsidian, and the flint just barely started. So down here are some flint flakes, some big and medium-sized flakes, and a lot of gray obsidian, and
this mahogany obsidian, which is just really beautiful.
So knapping it the way I was showing you, starting with pieces mostly about like this, medium size, thin flakes off the main core, knap and pressure flake them down to like triangular or teardrop shaped pieces, and they're smaller into triangular arrowheads. Pretty much these are almost finished, just gotta be just have to have some knocks put in them, which I'm gonna do right now. Okay, so now I'm going to try to use this deer antler to make a knock in the side of the arrowhead. Uh-oh, I think I'm gonna have to switch to the copper nail tool. Yeah, I was trying to go with the antler, but it's hard. There you go.